Well, Tulsi Gabbard is starting to tick off the Democrats in power. In fact, they have her on a watch list, and 7 leading government and TSA officials are watching her like a hawk. And as a result of that, she is now dropping real information on what they are trying to hide. Let's start first with what's going on with her being watched. Take a look here. And this is on Uncovered DC. Headline: exclusive. Federal Air Marshal whistleblowers report Tulsi Gabbard actively under surveillance via Quiet Skies program. And this was just published August 4th, 2024. It goes on. In an exclusive breaking story, several federal air marshal whistleblowers have come forward with information showing that former U.S. Representative and presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard is currently enrolled in the Quiet Skies program. Quiet Skies is a TSA surveillance program with its own compartmentalized suspected terrorist watch list. It is the same program being weaponized against January 6 defendants and their families. Quiet Skies is allegedly used to protect traveling Americans from suspected domestic terrorists. In other words, if they are actively following Tulsi Gabbard, that's because they suspect she's a domestic terrorist. This is very, very radical. But it goes on to expand on that. And it says here that the whistleblower first shared the information with Sonia Labasco, the executive director of the Air Marshal National Council, a national advocacy group for the federal air marshals. According to Labasco, at least one of the whistleblowers is ready to go on the record with pertinent documentation. Labasco shared that Gabbard is unaware she has 2 explosive detonation canine teams, 1 transportation security specialist, 1 plainclothes TSA supervisor, and 3 federal air marshals on every flight she boards. Labasco has attempted to contact Gabbard and her staff, but has not received a response. So 2 teams, 5 people, but about 7-ish people that are kind of on her tail. Now, this is thus far, according to Labasco, the Air Marshal National Council executive director there. So I want to see more confirmation coming forward from this whistleblower directly. However, this is according to information that she reportedly received from a whistleblower. And I have no doubt that something like that could absolutely happen to Tulsi Gabbard, because it happened to many people on January 6th. In fact, her agency has been warning about a lot of this going on. The Air Marshal National Council has. In fact, they wrote this letter, and this is a letter that they put out to McCarthy, Rick Scott, Mark Green, Jim Jordan, and James Comer. And in this letter, they're warning of all of the problems that are going on with this list, no-fly list or tracker list of domestic terrorists. And it says DHS Secretary Mayorkas, TSA, FAMS are classifying innocent Americans as domestic terrorists. And here's some highlights to that letter. We have recently become aware that the Transportation Security Agency, TSA, and the Federal Air Marshal Services are improperly classifying innocent Americans as domestic terrorists on internal TSA FAMS database and watch list. Most of these classifications occur in the absence of any investigation or even follow-up. In other words, some of the people that they outline in this letter that are being followed are people who just simply attended the rally on January 6th and did absolutely nothing wrong. And they have these labels as if there's some kind of terrorist. She goes on and expands, or they go on and expand, both of them. We respectfully request you exercise your oversight authority and fully investigate the TSA and FAMS domestic surveillance programs to determine, among other things, how and why TSA has been labeling Americans as terrorists. Amen. Additionally, we request you investigate how many high-risk missions are being broken down due to the border deployments, and following Americans improperly labeled as terrorists. The actions of Mr. Mayorkas and TSA FAMS account at best to massive fraud, waste, an abuse of taxpayer money and trust. At worst, we have a government agency that has succumbed to political bias, amen, and is intentionally violating America's First Amendment rights to due process. And that is absolutely what I see happening. So in other words, what she's saying here, and there's a couple of things. Obviously, they're labeling innocent Americans with no criminal past as domestic terrorists worthy of being watched with nothing on their record other than, say, attending a rally or something to the effect of. But also she expands and says air marshals have been reassigned over the past 2 years under the Biden regime, and they're being stationed at the border dealing with illegal immigration or whatever. They're rephrasing them over the border or tracking people linked to J6 events, right? So that's kind of it in a nutshell. But now we also obviously are getting reports that they are following our congressional leaders like Tulsi Gabbard. But what's interesting is Tulsi Gabbard has just come out and dropped a mega bombshell. And I think we all need to spread this far and wide. So please share this video with everybody you know, by the way. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. YouTube has been on a tangent unsubscribing people. So please make sure you're still subbed. But here is that. Former Democrat Tulsi Gabbard, and this is on Gateway Pundit, claims U.S. government is being run by powerful, unelected cabal, Democrat elite, and military-industrial complex, the real puppet masters behind Biden and Harris. In fact, by the way, she actually names names. Now, I'm going to read her statement versus play it because it's a good couple minutes, and for copyright reasons, I can't fully play the clip. So I'm going to read it to you. But it was a recent episode that was done on Modern Wisdom podcast held by Chris Williamson, right? And he held it with Tulsi Gabbard. But here's what Gabbard told him specifically. Here's what Chris Williamson asked. Who actually runs the government in your experience? Her response, Tulsi Gabbard. Not who you think it is. In many cases, especially recently, the troubling part about all this is it's not even people who we vote for. When you look at what happened when President Biden had that infamous debate with President Trump, it exposed the reality that many of us have known for a long time, which is that Biden has not been the guy calling the shots. We all know that here as well. He has not been the guy making the decisions, nor has it been Kamala Harris for that matter, nor will it be if she is elected president. It is this cabal of Democrat elite, the woke warmongering made up of the likes of Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Tony Blinken, Jake Sullivan, and people who are in the military-industrial complex, people who profit from us being in a constant state of war, which, by the way, are among the list of people that I have been saying who have been at the very top calling the shots. It is amazing to hear Tulsi Gabbard say something like this to the public because she was a Democrat, now Republican, and she is blowing the whistle on all of this. And she goes on. It is those in the administrative state, in the national security state, who derive more authorities and abilities to take away our liberty when we are in a heightened state of crisis or war. It is their friends and billionaires and people in the media who all derive their power from being able to have a figurehead that essentially they can control. And she concludes with this, but I've been telling people all along, don't be distracted. You take one horse out, you put another horse in. You've got the same people who are running the show. It is between the Democrat elite, will be Kamala Harris on the ballot, and those calling the shots behind the scenes, continuing to remain in power, versus Donald Trump, who has a record of, the reason why they're doing all they can do to destroy him is because he won't bend the knee to the Washington establishment, which is made up of people in both political parties. By the way, that is why we have such a huge group of people against Donald J. Trump. She sees it, we see it, you know it, I know it. Donald Trump isn't bending the knee to the Washington establishment, so they've indicted him on multiple counts and multiple felonies and multiple indictments. And then we also have an assassination attempt on his life. And they're out there still spreading false propaganda about Donald J. Trump. Meanwhile, their entire party is controlled by a, shall we say, Democrat elite military industrial cabal, according to Tulsi Gabbard. but it's something I've been saying all along. No wonder they have so many people watching her all the time. She's never called for anything violent, and nor do I, never would. She's out there telling the truth and trying to save our country. And meanwhile, we've got the mainstream media covering for this. That's why they have so many CIA, FBI, DHS, and DOJ hirees on their staff. They've got tons of it. They've hired tons in the international community at the mainstream media. And then we wonder why it's just a one-sided news. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. But that's why you guys are here at my channel. But what a powerful thing. Meanwhile, I got to show you this clip from Representative Jamie Raskin, a Democrat communist, because now he's saying they're going to use the 14th Amendment to stop Donald J. Trump, even if he's elected into office. Take a listen.
What can be put into the Constitution can slip away from you very quickly. And the greatest example going on right now before our very eyes is Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which they're just disappearing with a magic wand, as if it doesn't exist, even though it could not be clearer what it's stating. And so, they want to kick it to Congress. So it's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025, to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified. And then we need bodyguards for everybody in Civil War conditions, all because the 9 justices, not all of them, but these justices who have not many cases to look at every year, not that much work to do, a huge staff, great protection, simply do not want to do their job and interpret what the great 14th Amendment means. And I'm glad that Sherilyn's...
Well, it doesn't matter what the American people say. If Donald Trump is voting in, we're going to go after him with the 14th Amendment anyway, because, the SCOTUS hasn't ruled our way. Are you talking about some kind of coup there, regardless of what we, the people, vote in? I'm just asking. Because he's literally saying we're going to take him out on the 14th Amendment, precipice on that. He's mad because the Supreme Court ruled that he could remain on the ballot in Colorado as well as other places. God forbid you vote for somebody that is not bowing a knee to the Washington industrial complex, as Tulsi Gabbard so wonderfully put it. And that's what Donald Trump is not doing, and that's why they don't want him up there. Donald Trump is their enemy, and they don't want him in charge. All the more reason we need to get him elected in. Anyhow, I love all of you. As a quick reminder, please check out my sponsor, LisaHavenGold.com. Look, if you don't have a gold IRA or even a silver IRA, they offer all of that at Noble Gold Investments. As you know, the stock market just crashed. Now is the time to get that investment with gold, silver, and precious golds. This is why I've personally partnered with them. With everything going on, you cannot wait another moment. In fact, they are giving away this free gold and silver investment guide. Just fill out the information here, click Get It Now, and they're going to send you that free gold and silver investment guide. And by the way, they are giving away up to 10 Trump silver coins here, or even this American silver flag here with any approved plan. So make sure if you contact them at the number on the screen, 1-877-646-5347, please give them a call and let them know you heard it on Lisa Haven. But take your financial future back, and don't let the turmoil of what's going on keep you from doing that. They've been my sponsor since, I don't know, the past 8-ish years. Please check them out and make sure you and your family are protected. And by the way, they also ship gold and silver to your doorstep. Anyhow, I love all of you. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven signing out.